So if I said I was going to do another video on the same character as we did in the last 2 episodes, yeah, we're going to do that. It's not that I don't have characters saved up, I swear. They're just sitting in a directory somewhere already as we get Zictast, Ill-Fated, but it's because we get a lot of Zictast, Azal, Eldritch Parasite runs. Those 3 specifically result in very non-standard runs, which is why I usually want to play a quote-unquote, my quote-unquote, more normal run, but again, alas, that is not meant to be. So if nothing else, we get to play a character on a lot of non-standard backstories. Also, I think we're on Ill-Fated too, which makes this even worse. But in a funny way, it does counteract Zictast's own effect in terms of, hey, I don't have to worry about failing, because I was probably already going to fail anyway. So as we get into Zictast, Ill-Fated character-exclusive custom character, again, same soft rules, but this is going to be the last one for this character for, you know, for this, until I rotate back, or I find another reason to play it, or someone asks me to play the character on a, you know, on an Ath World of Horror run, which is why, as we get second mystery, Takshisan, Knowledge, Light, Dexterity, and maybe Charisma check, I usually try to play on, I think on a previous series, I played like Ath World of Horror first, because that is the most standard run you can do, even though some people might say, for immersion's sake, well, Jordan, isn't Kathak the first god you get? That's true, but in terms of gameplay-wise, at least on Harbinger, in my opinion, I have to add all of that because, well, it is my opinion, and I think it's mostly true for gameplay. Ath is the most neutral in terms of gameplay. But, that being said, as we need to increase strength and perception once somewhere, on characters that use a lot of spells, I have to readjust my mind every time I tangent with just the sentence, but yeah, characters that use spells, spellcaster-type characters, or characters that start with spells, you get the point at this point. Playing on Ath is not as standard, but there's not really, aside from maybe Goizo on Harbinger, but we'll see. Either way, it's not like you can't set in old god's effects, so that's why we do quick play right after the normal run. Or in the last series I did, Vigil, Flood, Sailors, Taxi, U. I think U is one of the only normal mysteries we have, because otherwise, stuck in a location in Vigil, stuck in a location in Flood. Sailors, it's normal, but you want 2 items to toss on a random timeline run. God, might as well go through the advice, if for no other reason than myself. Taxi can result in a lot of boss fight shenanigans, or I think you are forced pretty much into boss fight shenanigans in some way or form. So that leaves U, which I think there is a battle here, but it's by far the next to Sailors, it's the normal run. And because of Zictast, we can't run ally attack. Charisma drops too much unless Zictast grants us the grace of Charisma, but that's normally not going to happen, so off we go. This character can survive because of the fun start. You start with funds, F-U-N-D, not F-U-N space. Yeah, because we start with funds, there's a lot less doom that we have to spend, or curses in the case of treeing. But if you tree for funds on a character with low stats like this, you could 0-stat yourself easily. Not immediately, but certainly easily. And that would not be good. Which is why, again, just straight out starting with funds can be a powerful start. It's not as good as starting with some weapons, but it is a strong start, in my opinion. In another way, you could treat it as if... Oh, that's right. Well, time to go into this. Get rid of this. I don't remember these events at all. I think I've added at least 40, 50 plus events on top of the 90 plus events that exist in World of War. I'm pretty sure there's more than 100, but if we're talking about events that you can just randomize in a random location, I think base World of Horror has at least 100 events. But we'll just do the bloodletting, because 1, we're gonna fail, but 2, stamina is by far my least of my concerns. Also, I forgot to visit the police station, but that's fine for the moment, because we're just gonna visit Flood and hope that our max threat levels are granted. This is what I get for autopiloting, by the way. Yeah, that's what I get for autopiloting, which is something that... Oh, hold on. Let me just think it... This is really unfortunate. Yeah, so if nothing else, we can talk about shopping, the Obsessive Shopper perk pack. The funny thing about that is that on Harbinger, I need to keep saying on Harbinger specifically, or just in general, but Harbinger in my mind, you do end up shopping only at the beginning, unless you try to buy cigarettes. I can't really think of many other items aside from maybe, you know, visiting the pharmacy and the hospital to get healing items, but that... It's because going into a store costs Doom that... so much Doom, to be specific, that shopping for items in the middle of a run is not as feasible. You can do it, and if you pick up a shopping perk and you get a lot of funds, you can do it. It's just not... You're not going to be shopping as frequently in the middle of a run as in a vacuum of runs, is what I'm trying to say. Again, I'm not saying you can't, I'm just saying, at least in my experience, it hasn't gone too well. Which is why you see me visiting the vending machines, but not really any other store. It's too damaging. But, again, some people can make it work. Again, I will go back to the something I've said before, which is that if something works for you, it works for you. That's just the nature of RNG. But in the case of, you know, looking at theoretical probability, from what I understand and what I've seen and observed and calculated here and there, yeah, just in general, the bottom line, shopping during a run doesn't happen as frequently. Even shopping twice with the shopping perk will grant you some rewards. It's just that the Doom you take might be too much. But again, there are some nuances. One of the nuances is if you're on a low Doom run, then yeah, you can shop more if you get especially if you get the funds. If you have a lot of funds, shopping can grant you a lot of beneficial effects. Say you buy the cursed cartridge and you run to the dull nurse. Say you go visit the vending machines and you get 2 packs of cigarettes. Say you are missing a lot of stamina, and you get the arm sling from the pharmacy. Things like this are very efficient uses of shopping if you manage to get the funds and you're in those specific situations. But as you may have seen in a lot of my videos, you're not... Those prerequisites don't really normally apply. They don't apply. Yeah, so that's just that's at least my 1 cent on the topic of shopping during a run. We're gonna gamble on this 70% here, by the way. And off we go. Could have been a lot healthier there. I'm pretty sure I could have been a bit more efficient, but I am semi-autopiloting. We also had painkillers, so I definitely could have traded off more stamina, but we have the bath as well, so... Again, my reason for that, I've mentioned this before, but I normally don't like to top myself off in World of Horror. There are things that can happen that cause you to essentially take damage by not healing because you're topped off on stamina. And that has carried over from, mostly from my time playing Final Fantasy XIV, because I did play Final Fantasy XIV. I didn't play it to a, you know, a competent degree, but hey. Also, I might just want to run here. Yeah, we're on Zectast, but we're going to take too much damage. At some point, I have to weigh... Yeah, Zectast lowers my stats, but also, we're taking a lot of damage. Also, you're probably going to take at least 1 to 2 stats of damage. The first one is usually unavoidable. You're just going to get 21% Doom during most of your runs, but... yeah, afterward, you can visit the monument. That's what I'm trying to say. So... ignore the call. And we actually are lowering Doom at the moment, but yeah, the longer I can hold off losing on stats, the better. This is actually my first time fighting this encounter, but do I want to take 2 stamina damage? I have painkillers to keep in mind. What 2 attacks would have been nice. Otherwise, I can just go crazy here. No, I can't. So we'll go 90-80, because this... You should feel confident in doing something like this, but... You should also prepare for the eventuality that you will essentially miss one of these. So hey, and you get 15 experience from that, so that's pretty good. But anywho. We fail everything because ill-fated. Yeah, keeping my word on ill-fated, but if there's anything... That's why I ran from... That's why I am and will be running from encounters in the future. Because, keeping in mind that we're on Zectast, I don't really want to rest at home and cause myself to 0 stat quicker. What that results in is having more leeway at the end of the run, especially if you rest at the lighthouse. And you can afford to do so without 0 statting. Again, we're going to do the same thing here. Never mind, that's right, because our stats dropped. Wow, that really hurt me. Anywho. I should have actually leveled up here a bit too late, but thankfully we hit that, and 3 Doom is not the worst thing in the world. We get the map, that's gonna help out, but we can also... I was about to say visit the monument. No, we can't do that. What I can do is take a point in strength. We should be able to level up, so unless I get an injury or a curse that lowers perception or strength, I should be okay. Although, flashbacks will also end up killing me, I think. Yeah, it will. So we'll take a pack of cigarettes. I will usually end up taking a pack of cigarettes here. I think Taxi is one of my favorite mysteries out of the custom mysteries I'm using right now, because I know where to get a free pack of cigarettes. It's a pretty blatant option, but it's not the end-all be-all. That being said, I won't smoke this pack of cigarettes here. I don't think it would be for the best. And I don't think I actually want to, stay in this car chase, because otherwise bad things can happen. We're going to continue losing stamina and reason here, but we'll fight this as opposed to fighting anything else. I could have actually handcuffed this encounter, but I forgot to grab handcuffs. So, instead, we'll go 95-95. We're probably going to get out. Yeah, we're probably going to get out here. If we do this, I think I can fit 2 of these. No, I can't. All right, well, we're going to gamble. Good. And off we go. Nowhere bath. That's gonna hurt me immensely. That is 3 stamina, 3 reason, and 3 more HP of my choosing that I've lost there. Oh, my nose! Vigil 2. Oh my goodness, I realized how in pain I am. We have to take sailors first. We're too hurt. I can rest, but we'll kind of inch forward because we have 3 stamina, 3 reason. Someone mentioned this in the Discord community at some point. Ooh, we have a map, that's right. Another reason, Taxi grants you, I think it's a free map, pretty much? Yeah, it's a free map. I'm on ill-fated, so if I had to succeed to get anything, I would have noticed. But, what am I trying to say here? Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Remind me if you want to hear what I was going to say earlier. But, yeah, 2 stuff. Oh, yeah, so someone mentioned that having 3 stamina, 3 reason, as you walk forward, is nice to get Desperate Struggle. I forgot the exact calculations. I know I've mentioned it before, but I completely forgot. But, essentially, and we might as well rest here while we do. So, yeah, we're going to take the stat loss here, but we need the healing. Yeah, there are situations in which, if you're at 4 stamina or 4 reason, and then you drop down during an encounter, and then you do Desperate Struggle, that is far worse than being at 3 stamina, or even 2 stamina, 2 reason, one of those 2, or both, and you Desperate Struggle, you save more HP there. But at the same time, if you're like me and you run to a lot of events instead, and then you just take damage in the face, that's when you don't want to be low. So that's why I just rested there immediately. And this encounter which is a ghost. I think we can just do stuff in. Otherwise, taking 4 reason isn't the worst thing. It's just I would like to not, but I don't think I get a choice in the matter. So. Yeah, we'll just take 4 reason here. It would have been 3 reason. No, actually, it's 2 reason. That's right, never mind. Anywho. So we'll definitely toss away the ritual robe. Wait, does this affect us in the mansion? No, so we're going to toss this too, because we will no longer need it, pretty much. And thank goodness we did, because we were on timeline B. So, no boss fight. You'll notice that I try to skip that boss fight a lot. Especially on your 4th mystery onward. I think it does like 4 all damage, 5 all if you're on Itho2 on your 4th mystery onward, so that's why I dodge it like my life depends on it. Because my life does depend on it. In-game. We're gonna take 1 step forward. Also, I think we have the second encounter check. Oh, good, thank goodness we get perception, by the way. And off we go. So we can survive until 100% Doom. Unless we run into some very, very bad encounter. Heck, I can even run from some encounters. I should be okay here, especially since I smoked these cigarettes right after. So, yeah, we can't get the Vigil pamphlet. I think it's been a while since I did Vigil. But that's just what happens when you're ultimately rolling off of 3 mysteries. Oh, so close, but 3 perception. I can just brace instead. We take 3 stamina damage in this encounter? Oh my goodness. Well, hey. We'll do the same. Gotta blow my nose? Now, maybe I didn't want to take 3 stamina damage there, but we should be able to... Yeah, we should be able to just do this. 15 experience, that's a bit much, but I've taken worse. So, bow, bow, clap, clap. Keeping in mind we are on ill-fated, so if bad things happen in these mansion events, alternatively I could have just run. 5 doom for 3 stamina isn't the worst. It's a lot of doom, though, so... Hopefully we survive. Here's hoping we survive. We can fight the guests instead, so that's a funny little nuance of Vigil, especially taking Vigil last. Is that, specifically taking Vigil last, is that you can skip the... I think this is reason if I fail. No, it's stamina, never mind. I should have just skipped it then. So you can skip the ritual and just take the encounters, because the encounters are relatively... I forgot to sell the thing. The encounters are relatively easy. They just take a lot of doom, because doing that, failing the Vigil on purpose grants you +3 doom for each guest that remains. But, yeah, in this specific instance, we're just gonna run instead. So, we should be able to survive this. If this is not... Yeah, so we don't want to take any more stamina damage, so we're just gonna force a guest fight here. And while we have doom, we can continue doing it. So, as you can see, what went wrong? +3 doom. We purposely got it wrong. That was what we did. I think we can also... No, we can't run. So, we just brace instead. So, as you can see here, low power values on the guests. Yeah, it's a later encounter, so we take a bit more damage, but usually in this instance, you're healthy enough to get out of the mystery. And with 70% doom, we should survive no matter what. Now, granted, we're going to take upwards of 9 stamina damage, but I wasn't watching my lighthouse checks. But I can rest about 6 times and be okay still. So yeah, Takshisan second mystery, 6 stamina damage, we have a light source, and 2 reason damage. But for posterity's sake, we're just going to do this and move on with life. That being said, yeah, not really much else we can do here. None of these perks are going to help us, so off we go. And we should survive this run. I forgot if I even survived the last episode, but hey. We did you into, I think, Flood, funny enough. Yeah. Although I don't remember what my second encounter would have been. Yeah, I don't remember. Anywho. So I think we just toss out all of our attacks here. We never even... yeah, I don't think I ever visited the police station, funny enough. But hey, it's fine. And off we go. So yeah, without further ado, we'll just close out this video now, because whether this is a run you should not lose at this point. So if you want to see me do any specific custom content, please let me know. I mean, you can try to point me in the direction towards it, but if it's something I can't play for whatever reason, I will usually try to let you know. But otherwise, if you have anything else you want to say, the comment section is always open. Otherwise, if you want to support me, as always, just watching the video helps out, but you can subscribe, you can comment, you can do a bunch of other stuff, and I will not take up much more of your time. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye!